Hey everybody, sorry it's a beyond a crappy day. I hope the sound is working. We'll see, I should be live. But anyway, thank you all for being here. These market conditions are brutal, and I'm going to dig into part of what I see out there. And I have no audio, whoops. Hold on a second. Where is my sound? There we are. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Oh, hopefully, I guess audio is good. Good. I wasn't sure. It's okay. Keep going. So sorry, everybody. Very stressful day. Very disturbing day. Sickening day. Sick stomach all day. Worried about everybody out there. We're going to talk about where we believe we are right now and what has technically, potentially, caused the crash, or at least added to it. So first of all, this is capitulation. We're seeing that in all markets. Everything's been sold, some things are getting no bids, everything's crashing down, and it's just a really, really tough day. So hang tough. So let's talk about the hard day real quick. The S&P 500's under 4,000. 4,000 was a critical support level. We broke through that. The C-19 lockdowns in China are fueling inflation fears. We're hoping for a print around 8 instead of 8.5. The May 11th, which is Wednesday morning at 5:30 a.m. Pacific. Watching that number carefully, I'll be up. And fingers crossed, it's good. If it's not good, markets could tank further. Now, the 2 and 30-year rates gap are widening. It's not good. Ukraine tensions are rising. Not good. And we're going to talk most about the UST losing the peg, rattling crypto markets today. And Bitcoin, actually just Bitcoin hit 30,300 again, which is a 10-month low. We are about $1,500 away from the July low as well. And MicroStrategy smashed down 75 points. That hurt me. Today was a big money losing day. So everybody out there is hurting. So let's talk about Bitcoin exchange inflow. This got a lot of attention today. Bitcoin exchange got hit with the biggest inflow since January 2022. Nearly 80 million worth, but there's a lot more. Apparently, about 80,000 Bitcoin hit Gemini as well to be sold from the LFG, the Luna Foundation Garden. We'll talk more about that as well and how it's impacting the market. So first of all, Luna LFG Dumpage. You can see clearly here on Glassnode again, and a big thank you to Sanjay for sharing this with me. The balance is tanking, and we'll dig more into exactly what that means. And the wallet address, this is the actual live wallet, is heavily drained. They had as much as 70,000 Bitcoin in this wallet, and they had 80,000 Bitcoin in total. And now that's gone down to about 28,200, as you can see here. So a huge amount of what they had as a reserve to stabilize the peg has been depleted to help reserve the peg. Now, let's look at the LFG reserves. This is as of yesterday. The LFG Foundation, which is there to support Luna, had about $2.84 billion in it, and now it's got a lot less. I estimate about 1.2 billion, 1.3 billion left, because they've already spent over 1.5 billion to try stabilize this thing. And even as I'm talking right now, the peg is gone again. Bitcoin's heading towards 30,000, so this is not a good situation. Now let's talk about Kwon. He's trying to ease tensions, and he said, hey, steady lads, everything's okay, everything's under control. But I don't think so. He has deployed the LFG Bitcoin reserves. Liquidity is going to be used to borrow against UST to defend the peg. Now let's look at some of the problems behind the scenes. Curve pool, we've heard a lot about curve pool over the last couple of months. And obviously it has too much UST, as you can see here in this graph from Mhankasalu. Hope I said that right. Now, all the trade on the other side of this is being run down, and there is not enough liquidity, and people are taking a bath to get out, which means they're selling at 90 cents on the dollar, 85 cents on the dollar. Last time I checked right now, live. And this is kind of both terrifying and fascinating, if that's even possible. But you can just see here, the Luna is tanking as we speak. It's lost the peg, and now it's just dropping down. It is 70 cents on the dollar. everybody's bailing, and we'll talk more about exactly how much. So when you look at the UST, USDC pool, the liquidity is extremely low. And this was when we put this together. You can see the rate at the time was 0.895, but 0.8915, now it's 0.70. Just in the space of an hour, it is crashed. Now the curve pool, UST to USDC, again, only $1 million in exit liquidity. And people are just desperate to get out right now. But can this get worse? Let's have a quick look. Again, another old chart. It's already out of date. It fell as low as 82. Now it's 70 cents. Now, even if you just take this alone and you look at 18 billion USTs out there times 18 cents, that's 3.2 billion. Now it's 18 billion times 30 cents. That is over $5 billion gone at this rate. The 3 billion in the LFG reserve is not enough to support and stabilize the peg, unfortunately. And that's not good. Now, interestingly, again, this is probably out of date right now. I know Luna hit 30. Luna right now is trading at 27. Ugh. So the loss is way in excess of that. And Anchor Protocol loss is down around the same percentage as well. So you can see here they are both tied and in sync. Nothing but terrible bad news. We're seeing cascading liquidations happening. Now let's look at some of the smart contract platforms. Again, this chart is an hour old. It's different, but the biggest loser of the day is Terra, and it's only just begun now. It's trading at 30 bucks instead of 45, so it's lost another big chunk. Ethereum is holding up the best of all the smart contract platforms out there, and other ones that are hit hard though are Phantom down, Polkadot down, Cardano down, all down 16, 18%, etc. So it has been just a nasty day, really bad, and things are happening really fast. So the good thing about these things when they do happen fast is the pain is short-lived, but let's talk a bit more. So first of all, what's happening? So LFG is forced to sell Bitcoin to collateralize UST. 1 week ago, the Anchor protocol had 20 billion in it. Now it has 8 billion. It probably has about 6 billion now. And 12 billion drained in a week is a massive amount of sell pressure. And this selling pressure on UST is also bringing about selling pressure on Luna. And we always knew that the 20% APY was never sustainable. But I was optimistic that at least putting $10 billion in Bitcoin as a Bitcoin-backed algorithmic stablecoin would be successful. They never got a chance to get above 3 billion, so it never came to fruition. We always knew Anchor was a Ponzi anyway, so here we are. So Anchor, just a reflection of how much it's drained, 31% in the last 24 hours alone. I think it was up to 14 billion just 24 hours ago. Now it's 8 billion, and it's probably, again, even less because this thing is unraveling so fast before our very eyes. This is another snapshot of the balance. You can see here 28,000 Bitcoin remaining. And I know that they pumped 70,000 Bitcoin, or at least 50,000 onto Gemini to sell. And this is what's really crushing Bitcoin. I did say yesterday that 32,000 was a level that many big people with big money were going to come in and buy. But now with all the markets unraveling, they're probably sitting back and holding. Also, the selling pressure of 40,000, 50,000 Bitcoin hitting the market all at once on a very weak day is catastrophic for the markets. But it's not over. If you look at additional pain possible, these are the loan liquidations with the different liquidation prices and how much are there. These are already hitting right now. And again, billions will be liquidated at fire sale prices in a very short window of time. And that's what we're seeing happening right now. Very sad. So quick conclusion to what we're talking about here is, first of all algorithmic stablecoins lose their pegs at one stage or another. And when they are needed the most, like a market condition like now, they tend to fail. They're put under most pressure and they show a lack of stability. And once the peg is lost, it starts a cascading effect. And layer on the complexity of Anchor and that being drained as well, there is a massive liquidity scramble going on. And all we can do is watch this in real time. I hope people didn't have very, very high allocations. I know people like Rand from Crypto Banter, he says he's got 80% Luna, but he got it at a very low price. But I'm sure he's trying to take whatever he can off the table right now. So with that, remember, Luna did not cause the Bitcoin crash, but it definitely added a ton of fuel to the sell-off as we're out there. And let's talk about a couple of other things. Final part is tattoos are permanent. Luna may not be. So Luna, again, it's just one of those things that the wheels are coming off, and it could not happen at a worse time, and the level of liquidation that's going to hit is extreme. So let's talk about a few other pieces of news as well. Let's talk about bottoms. We have the Anchorman here. So this was interesting from the rational route, and a big thank you to Dr. Emrani, not Dr. Sanjay, but Dr. Emrani this time sent this. And this is a cycle comparison from previous all-time highs until bear market lows. Now, I always try to identify some positivity here, and per the rational route, he believes it's not the upside we hoped for, but it looks very close to a bottom to the rational route, as I said. Now, what I see in this is one, well, clearly we've had no blow off top. Number two, we have a more mature product, Bitcoin. Three, there's far less volatility, even though today you would argue that. And number four, much longer cycles. And I added some rings here. The two rings at the top are kind of indicating the 2017 cycle. And you can see the bottom to the next bottom again after a long period of time. And this cycle, although we never reached a blow off top, you can see in July 2021, we hit 29,000, 28,800 to be precise. And in 2022, we're here right now banging on the door of that summer low. So the question is, will this become support? Will this 29K level become support? Even if, as I look at it now, the UST just hit 68 cents. People are liquidating as quick as they possibly can, which is really bad. Bitcoin's about to hit 30,000 flat. And then we'll see if the big money comes in. I didn't see people coming in. Normally when we hit certain levels, you see people coming in and buying. Nobody is buying right now in big volume. So let's talk about somebody who is buying though. Nayib Bukele, he did buy the dip. He bought 500 coins at an average of 30,700, and he seems happy about that. So there are some people buying, but not everybody. And in other news as well, Galaxy Digital, they did report a $112 million quarter loss. Trading volumes on the platform have dropped 30% compared to the previous cycle, despite the onboarding of about 50 new enterprise counterparties. And they also earned, I think, $10 million of mining revenue for the first time ever, but the stock fell 30% today under trading pressure. It's under $10. It hasn't been this low since I first covered Galaxy, and that was in about 13 months ago in my Galaxy video that I had Mike Novogratz actually check the content for. By the way, this is Mike Novogratz's arm. So he's a big lunatic, big Luna fan. So we'll see if it survives, but it's looking very risky now. So anyway, let's talk about a little bit of Tesla versus Rivian news very quickly. This is the relative chart. Again, everything's getting whacked today. But Rivian, their IPO lockup was unlocked, and Rivian fell 25%. Tesla fell down in sympathy because it's also an EV maker, fell 9%. So we're getting to a very juicy price for Tesla, very close to 750. 750 to 850 is always a good place to enter, but in this market, I'd err towards the side of 750 before deploying capital, not financial advice, of course. And final piece of note, again, big thank you to Sanjay for sharing this. This is per Liz Ann Saunders, and it is the consumer credit in the United States and how it's ballooned in March to a record level of $53 billion, I think, versus $25 billion not too long ago. Now, this revolving credit includes things like credit cards, car loans, school loans, etc., and it has exploded. Now, with an increasing interest rate environment, this makes the whole world we live in far more unstable, everybody. So we could have another financial crisis on our hands based on these types of charts and increasing interest rates. And the Fed is well aware of that right now. And that's why they completely emphasized again this week that 75 basis points is off the table. I do believe they'll do another 50, maybe another 50 after that, but probably not at this stage because everything is unraveling. And if they jack up the rates by 100 basis points, it's only 1%, ladies and gentlemen, but it's enough to throw us into financial Armageddon, and they realize that better than anybody else. So with that, everybody, hang tough, hang tight. I wish I had better news to share, but that's just the world in which we live in. And thank you all for staying strong, staying healthy, taking care of each other. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.